In the last lesson, we learned how to count using the place values, the ones. Always start counting the ones first, and then once we count all the ones, we count the tens, and then if we have the hundreds, we count the hundreds. And we just write the number based on the place values. That was quick, isn't it? Now, what we just did there in that lesson, we have a term for it. We have a math term for it, and that is called addition. Now, what is addition? Well, addition is to add. Well, yes, of course it's to add. That's where the word add in addition is right there. Now, what is to add means? Well, to add means to put together. Well, we put together the ones, the tens, and the hundred. We put together those digits to make a number. Or the other way that you can think of is to count up. That means count one by one. Remember how we had to count all the way to 100 one by one, and that take forever? So in this case, I have two sample. This is sample 1 and this sample 2. Okay? So let's look at this. Well, in this case, let's look at this sample. Well, do we have any ones? Since we don't have any ones, so we have to go all the way to the 10. So how many 10 do we have? We have one tens here and we have another tens. So 1, 2. And what is the total? It is 2, 10, and therefore we have the number 20. That means there are, see this right here? You see the digit 2 right there? And that's the place values of tens. That means there are 2 of tens. So this sample has 20 boxes and it doesn't have any 1, so that's why it's a 0. 0 means there's nothing there. And in this sample, we have 1, 2, 3, and these are the ones. So how many ones do we have? 1, 2, 3. In this case, we have 3 of ones. So let's learn how to add. So to add numbers, always, and I mean always, line up the digits of the number. If some number only have one digit, so you just use that one digit. So we have to line up the digit to have the same place values. What does that mean? For example, here we have this number 20, right? The 2 is the tens place, but this is the ones place. But over here, we have this sample, it's just a number 3, that is just the ones place. So line them up, the ones with the ones, the 10 with the tens. So the first one is that. Let's look at this one. Let's put this number on top. We have 3, and this is the ones place. Okay? And now that's the number for this sample. What about this sample? We have 20. But 20 has 2 digits. Where is my ones? My ones is at 0. So I'm going to put the 0 there. And right next to the 0, we have the tens. And notice how this line up. That's the ones. And this is the tens. Do we have any tens for this number 3? No, that's why we don't put anything there. Or if you like, you just put a 0 if you want to. It doesn't really matter. So that tells you we can write like this. 3, 0, or 0, 2. So this right here is the tens values. And this right here is the ones values. Okay? So again, you don't have to put a 0 there because there's nothing there. So let's add it together. Well, let's count up. In this case, we have 3. And do we have any more over here? So therefore, what is 3 plus 0? Well, 3 plus 0, that gave us 3. Then over here, to the tens place, do we have any values for the tens place here? No, there's nothing there because there are no tens in this sample. So what is 0 plus 2? That gives us 2. So what is the total for both samples? That is 23. And that is how addition works. In this case, 3 plus 20, 3 plus 20 equal to 23. And that's adding. Okay? And if you don't like to add, just count them together using the place values. Let's try another example. And again, we have sample number 1 and sample number 2. Let's add them all together to determine how many boxes are in both sample. So first we're gonna do this by counting, okay? Using place values. Well, let's look at this. Again, to count, always start with the ones. So we have 1, 2, 3, and over here we also have more ones. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7. So in this case, we have 7 of ones. Now let's count how many of the 10s we have on both sample. Well, we have 1 10 here, another 10 there, and another 10 there. So how many 10s do we have together? 1, 2, 3. And there you go. That tells us there are 3 of 10. So what's the number? In this case, it is 37. So to add 2 samples together is 37. And we just did that by counting. But now let's do this by adding, okay? So let me erase this, and I want to write in different color. Now let's do this by using addition, and we're going to add this 2 number. Again, we need to determine what's the number for each one of them. So we have to count them. In this case, we have 1, 2, 3. So we have a number that has a digit of 3 for the ones. And when for the 10s, we have 1 10, 2 10. And that gives us 2 of the 10s. So in this case, the number is 23. Okay? And that's for this sample right here. 23 boxes. What about over here? I'm going to ignore the 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, that's for this number. So we're going to recount it again. How many ones do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case, we have 4 of the ones. Okay. Do we have any 10s? Yes, right here. How many 10s do we have? Just 1 10th. So therefore, this number is 14. So we have 23 and 14. So let's add them together. So again, to add numbers, line up the digit of the numbers. In this case, we have 2 numbers, 23 and 14. So they have the same place values, okay? So let's look at this. We have 23, okay? And what is 23? Well, 23 is right there. Now let's line up. This right here is the ones. And this right here is the 10th place. So look at number 14. Where's my ones? My ones is the 4. And what is my 10th? My 10th is the 1. So now they all line up. So we add the 2 numbers together. Okay? So now, again, what does the word counting mean? Well, to count means to put together or to count up. So let's look at this. 3 plus 4. Well, 3 plus 4 to count up 4 more. So 3, let's count up 4 more. So let's use this right here. So we have 1, 2, 3. To count up 4 more, we have 4, 5, 6, 7. So that would be the 4 right there. So what's the total number? 3 plus 4 is 7. Now we add the ones already. Now we go over to the tens and add it. How many tens do we have? In this case, we have 2. 2 plus 1. Count up 1 more. That gives us a total of 3. So there you go. We have 37. And that is the same number as that one. And that's how we learn how to add with 2 numbers. So that's how we use addition to count up or put together. Go to StreamlineED.com to download ready-to-use online practice with immediate feedback. You don't have to make copies. All of your student work is auto-graded. This will save you a lot of paper and hours of grading. The links are in the description below. Thank you.